Good afternoon. Please be seated, everyone. Welcome to the 2026 School of Kinesiology Commencement Ceremony. I'm Pete Bodery, Associate Dean for Undergraduate Education, and I have the privilege of being your host today. Before we begin the program, as a courtesy to others, please take a moment to silence your cell phones so that we can enjoy the celebration uninterrupted. I would also like to remind guests to remain in your seats during the awarding of degrees. One other note, at the conclusion of the ceremony, the platform party and graduates will depart immediately to the School of Kinesiology building, directly across the street, where there will be plenty of photo opportunities and refreshments. More on this later. So, to today's jubilant order of business. Commencement really is one of my favorite days of the year. My colleagues know that I love to talk about the thoughtfulness, work ethic, and creative ideas that our Kines students constantly display. On this day, we're intentionally devoting a couple hours to doing just that, and in Hill Auditorium as well. How lucky are we to be celebrating all that our graduates have achieved. And honored too to have our commencement speaker, Kate Johnson, a UM alum, an Olympic silver medalist in rowing, Google's Global Marketing Director of Sports and Entertainment Partnerships, and a dedicated member of our Sport Management Advisory Board. Kate, what a pleasure to have you with us today. We're grateful as well to have both Lori McCauley, UM's Provost, and Chris Fries, the Vice Provost for Academic and Faculty Affairs, on stage as guests. Thank you, Provost McCauley and Vice Provost Fries, for choosing to spend your evening with us. And a special thank you in advance to Provost McCauley for sharing a few words with us later in the program. Now to the graduates. As you reflect on your time at the School of Kinesiology, some strong emotions may come up. After all, you've done so much here. You've participated in research opportunities, internships, study abroad experiences, clinical rotations, group projects, leadership opportunities. You've attended games and concerts and cultural events. And you've likely met people who have changed your life forever. Perhaps your feelings about today are bittersweet then. Or maybe you're ready to throw yourself headlong into the next phase of life. Either way, know that we are proud of you for getting here. But we all know that it's really a team effort to make it to graduation day. So graduates, please give your family and friends and our faculty and staff a round of applause for their support. Now, please remove your hats or mortarboards, and if you choose, rise, while Skylar Reynolds, who will be receiving a master's in movement science, sings our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night
Well done, Skylar. And now to introduce Lori Ploutz-Snyder for her last commencement as Dean of the School of Kinesiology, let's welcome Provost McCauley to the podium.
To the class of 2026, on behalf of the university, congratulations. You have earned every moment of this evening, and it is an honor to be here and share this milestone with you, one of the most dynamic communities on our campus. I'm especially glad to be with you to commemorate this day because this is Dean Ploutz-Snyder's last commencement as Dean of the School of Kinesiology, the close of nearly a decade of leadership that has genuinely transformed this school. She arrived here from NASA, where her research helped protect astronauts from the physical toll of long-duration spaceflight. The same rigor she brought to keeping humans healthy in the harshest environment imaginable, she brought to elevating this school. Since her first day on the job, Dean Ploutz-Snyder has been a model of strategic, patient leadership, tempered with ambition for what kinesiology at Michigan could become. The students crossing this stage tonight are part of that legacy. So are the faculty she recruited, the buildings she helped bring to life, and the scholarly reputation this school has built under her watch. And now, like the class of 2026, she's worked long and hard and earned the right, at last, to graduate as well. In fact, I hope she has a wild celebration or two planned before she jumps back into academic life. Lori, on behalf of the university, thank you for 10 years of excellent leadership. And now it is my honor to introduce the Dean of the School of Kinesiology, Dean Lori Ploutz-Snyder.
Thank you, Provost McCauley. As Dean of the School of Kinesiology, I take great pleasure in welcoming you to this celebration of our 2026 graduates. Before I share my thoughts with you, I'd like to acknowledge our remarkable Kines team who has worked to support these students as they grow and learn and cope with the occasional frigid weather and panicked moment. Faculty and staff, please stand if you choose, and let's give them a round of applause. Thank you. Now, to the undergraduate class of 2026, I have a question for you. Do you know that your class has a special accolade, one that none will ever have again? We moved into our masterfully renovated building in early 2021, so that makes you the first class to have spent your entire time as students under our beautiful roof. You've lived through many other experiences that make your class unique. 4 sports teams have won the national championship in your time here. And for the guests in the crowd, I'll tell you this was football, men's gymnastics, and this month alone, men's basketball and wheelchair tennis. In this Kines graduating class, we have multiple Olympians who represented their countries proudly under a global spotlight. and our first student ever to graduate with a dual degree from the School of Kinesiology and the School of Information. And if that weren't enough, our first Mays cohort graduating this year. But just a few weeks ago, all of you survived 2 tornadoes that touched down in Ann Arbor. And we're grateful that everyone is safe and that amid both adversity and glory, you've made it here. Milestone events like commencement are often a time for reflections like these. When you're in the middle of striving to reach your goals, you're often too busy or focused to truly process what has helped you realize your dreams. But now you have a time to look and pause at everything that has contributed to your success and to sitting here today. What you may remember may be different from me or from the person sitting next to you. Your best memories might involve meeting new best friends through the kinesiology fraternity Phi Epsilon Kappa. It could be serving on the executive board of one of our 23 student groups, connecting with alumni who have become mentors and confidants. Maybe you'll never forget your internship with athletics or off campus at a local, regional, national, or global organization that helped you draw the outline of your career. Perhaps you're thinking of your time in the lab where you learned how to ask important research questions and find answers with rigor and persistence. Maybe what stands out are classes where the professors and the classmates challenged you to become less comfortable and more curious. Or you could already be nostalgic about our great School of Kinesiology building, that light casting through the top of the atrium, the curving shapes of the staircase, the spa-like sound of the rain on the roof, all of which maybe made you feel safe and confident that you could achieve what you set out to do. I'm in a similar self-reflective state since I'm graduating with you today. This is my final commencement as Dean of the School of Kinesiology after a 10-year run that I'm proud to look back on. Over the past decade, this school has transformed from a program without a lot of fanfare into a place with a bright future full of disciplines that are highly desirable for students and highly regarded by our institutional peers. As just one example, we now hold the #1 ranked PhD program in kinesiology in the country and the #2 ranked sport management program in the country. We've grown a lot too, doubled our operating budget and the number of faculty, tripling our endowment, increasing our student population by 50%, so we have the pleasure of teaching and knowing more of you. We're really proud of all these accomplishments, and I say we because it truly has taken our entire team to get where we are today. To land here has needed certain skills: tenacity, drive, belief, from all of us. I urge you to remember that you too have these skills, the necessary skills to forge ahead to navigate graduate school applications, uncertainties in job markets and grant funding, and all the unexpected things the world may have to show you. Some of you have your next step planned out. Some of you are working on that right now. Others are feeling more than the usual amount of angst about what you are going to do next. That's the bad or at least uncertain news, but I'm here to remind you that you have what it takes to tackle the world. And the statistics back me up. Based on the latest data from the Federal Reserve, the unemployment rate for recent college graduates is still significantly lower than for young workers in general, 40% lower. Or take the most recent report from the National Association of College and Employers, which gathers career data from recent graduates at more than 200 academic institutions, including ours. This group found that 86% of bachelor's degree graduates from the class of 2024 were employed or enrolled in further education within 6 months of graduation, a rate that's actually on the increase. Master's degree graduates even higher at 88%. If you're graduating with a bachelor's degree, your typical earnings from your first job, once you land it, will be 86% higher on average than those who didn't pursue further education after high school. And generally, master's degrees result in even higher salaries than that. By pursuing, and in just a very short while receiving a degree, you made a choice to invest in your future, and that was a savvy move. Not only did you choose to go to college, you chose to come to the University of Michigan. We have so many resources, opportunities, and connections at our disposal here, and we know how much of a privilege that is. So many of you have taken full advantage of these to boost your professional and personal growth, cultivating relationships, immersing yourselves in experiential learning opportunities, and preparing yourselves for the next steps, whatever they may be. All of that has put you in an excellent position to thrive going forward. And it's not just me saying that. We track where our students go and what they do in the first year after graduation. In the most recent data we have from the class of 2024, the majority of our programs at the School of Kinesiology beat the unemployment rate for all workers, not just recent graduates. In fact, there wasn't a single graduate of our Movement Science Bachelor's program that year who was unemployed, factoring in those who went on to continuing education. Not a single one. In part, that success comes from choosing a discipline where the human touch will always matter. Many of you are planning to enter hands-on medical fields or business disciplines where social skills are not only helpful, but they're essential. And I'm well aware that I'm biased, but to me, the areas we focus on here at the School of Kinesiology are some of the most important. They are the ones that center healing and community building, and of course, moving things that connect us so intimately with that feeling of being alive. With the joy that comes from being real, not artificial. So you don't have to know what your next move is. Let us instead tell you what we here at SOK know. We know you're hard workers. We know you're well educated. We know you're adaptable, an enormous strength in a world that never stops shifting around us. And because of all that, we know you have a bright future, even if it may look a little hazy right now. If you think back on everything that's happened in your collegiate career so far, you'll remember that all fog and the limited foresight and unease that come with it is temporary. The fog clears and you see what's been there all along. To tell you more about her own experience of navigating uncertainty, I welcome Kate Johnson. Kate is a Michigan alum, an Olympian, an executive leader, a cancer survivor, and an advocate for women's sports. She has held leadership roles at IMG, Visa, and now Google, where she serves as the Global Director of Sports and Entertainment Marketing Partnerships, working centrally across the company's many product areas. Recognized by Adweek and WISE as a leader in her field, she serves on the International Olympic Committee's Commission for Digital Engagement and Marketing Communications, is on the Utah 2034 Finance and Audit Committee, is a board member for the Youth Sports Alliance, and is a trustee emeriti at the Women's Sports Foundation. If that weren't enough, Kate is also an Olympic silver medalist, world champion rower, and University of Michigan Hall of Honor inductee. She and her husband, Jason, have 2 active sons and spend their time as a family traveling the great outdoors. Without further ado, let's give Kate a warm Kines welcome.
Oh my goodness, look at you all. I just have to take a moment, like we all do on these days, to just be present. This is incredible. Thank you, Dean Ploutz-Snyder. Thank you, Provost McCulley, Vice Provost Fries. To the outstanding faculty and professors here at the School of Kinesiology, thank you for consistently preparing Michigan students to be the leaders and best in their chosen fields. To the parents, step-parents, grandparents, siblings, family, and friends, filling the room today, you are the team behind the team of these graduating students. Thank you for your years of support emotionally, financially, and mentally. Graduating from the University of Michigan is no easy feat, and it took a whole team to arrive here today. To my own family, my incredible parents, to Lisa Haas, my Michigan athletic trainer while I was here, to my rowing coach, Mark Rothstein, who's with us today and still the head rowing coach of the women's rowing team, thank you for being with us here today. And finally, to the University of Michigan School of Kinesiology, class of 2026, congratulations. It is an honor to be here with you today, and a gift. I did not get to attend my own graduation from Michigan in 2001. Like many spring sport athletes, I spent my graduation weekend competing for the Block M. So thank you for giving me this opportunity to live vicariously through all of you. The joy in this room is palpable, and there's nowhere I'd rather be. As I prepared to be here with you today, I tried to put myself in your shoes. As much as I'd like to believe 2001 was only yesterday, a lot has changed in 25 years. To start with, there were 2 billion fewer people in the world. There was no such thing as a smartphone, social media, or Google Maps for that matter, which basically means we were all lost all the time. But that was also okay. You, class of 2026, are joining an entirely different world. Today, technology can book your flight, organize your files, and predict what you need before you even ask. Your car can park itself, and AI can build you an app and help you launch it in the same day. You don't just connect to the internet, you live inside of it. You have 5,000 friends in your pocket who you update your status to from a tent in the backcountry. You can be present in a meeting in Tokyo and pivot to a family dinner in Toledo 5 minutes later. We have built a world where no one is ever truly out of reach. But despite all this connection, the world can feel a little lonelier, and despite all this intelligence, these days, the future can feel a little less certain. That is exactly why, class of 2026, it's your humanness that has never been more essential to this world. When I left Ann Arbor, I had a 3-year plan. While classmates of mine were moving to far-off cities or waiting for job offers to land, or moving home to continue their job search, I left Michigan to pursue my Olympic dream, full-time. It paid nothing, but it offered everything that lit me up: a worthy goal, teammates to share in the journey, and a structure within which to thrive. It was my winning formula, until one day it wasn't. It's an ironic human experience that just as we seem to master something, we find ourselves starting over again. I'd always thought if I made it to one Olympics, I'd want to keep going for at least 1 or 2 more. But as I stood on the podium in Athens, after 13 years of dreaming, grinding, and finding the deepest, toughest parts of myself, I realized quite abruptly that I was ready for whatever came next. And I was terrified. See, as humans, we are hardwired to crave certainty. Researchers found that people were actually more stressed by a 50% chance of receiving an electric shock than they were when they had a 100% certainty of receiving one. Our brains are so allergic to the unknown that we would rather sign up for a guaranteed pain than deal with an uncertain maybe. I felt that uncertain maybe the second I stepped off the podium in Athens. And the identity crisis began almost immediately. I could see the structure I had thrived within since I was 13 quickly evaporating. There would no longer be teammates to show up for, no coach to check in with. I was grasping for a new goal, but I didn't have the life experience to know what it was yet. So I did what any terrified 25-year-old does when they don't know what else to do with their life. I moved in with my parents. I spent months in that uncomfortable limbo, desperate to fill the void that my former Olympic goal had left. And on a deeper level, I was working hard to avoid the real question: who am I if I am no longer a rower chasing her dream? 2 decades and dozens of new beginnings later, I've realized that we too often think of these chapters as separate and distinct. One thing ends and another thing begins, but this misses the truth. These transitions, these uncertain new beginnings, are continuations of who we are becoming. As a society, we spend so much time talking about pinnacle moments, the medals, the job titles, the credentials, the viral wins. But ask any athlete what they actually miss about their sporting career, and they rarely say the podium. They talk about the comeback after a crushing loss. They talk about finding another gear when no one was watching. They talk about the 5 a.m. workout they barely survived alongside their teammates. And the accountability that comes from showing up for others. Our humanity lives in the margins of this uncertainty. We don't discover who we are when the medal is hung around our neck, or even when we are handed the diploma. We find ourselves in the grit. We find ourselves when our legs are heavy, when the thesis has to be scrapped, and when the finish line is nowhere in sight, and yet we press on in search of our best. That limbo period for me after Athens was when I first understood I had to be willing to sacrifice what I was for who I could become. I had to let go of the definition I had for myself as Kate the rower to make room for everything else I would become: an executive leader, a women's sports team owner, a breast cancer survivor, a world traveler, a wife, a mother, a stepmother, a multi-dimensional human being. Rowing is a beautifully deceiving sport. It's punishingly physical, using over 85% of the body's muscles. Over a 2,000-meter race, athletes are pushed to near total oxygen deprivation and lactate buildup, all while having to stay in perfect unison with their teammates. There is a phase of the rowing stroke called the recovery. It happens after you've finished a massive pull, when the blade comes out of the water and you glide back up to the start of the stroke to put the blade back in and pull again. To anyone on shore, the recovery looks like a pause. It looks like you're doing nothing. It looks like the easy part. But ask any rower, and they will tell you, the boat moves the fastest during the recovery. It's when the boat runs. It even sings if you're doing it right. It's the most precarious part of the stroke. If you rush it, you kill the momentum. If you tense up, you fall out of rhythm. You have to be comfortable with the not pulling part to let the boat do its work. You know this principle better than most audiences I could stand in front of. You've studied it. Growth doesn't happen during the load. It happens during the recovery. These uncertain times in life, they are like the critical part of the rowing stroke. The gaps between jobs, the unexpected breakup, the transitions that feel rudderless. These are your recovery. We don't talk about them often enough, and they are essential to our becoming. Don't rush to fill them with noise or the first certain thing that comes along. As a wise mentor once said to me as I left the safety net of the rowing world, you've got to leave enough room in life to let good things happen for you. Luckily, I listened. Leaving time and space for good things to happen to me has allowed me to lead teams at some of the most influential companies in the world. But for a long time, I was trying to push against the discomfort of uncertainty. I thought my value as a leader or as an employee was tied to having all the answers, to eliminating uncertainty for everyone else out around me. Basically, I spent a lot of energy trying to look like I had it all figured out. Now, having sat in enough meetings where the stakes felt almost as high as the Athens starting line, I'm discovering the secret of effective leadership. In a world obsessed with perfection, optimization, efficiency, our greatest value is actually our messiness and the things that make us all human. The most impactful moments of my career did not happen when everything was going according to plan. They happened when the plan failed. They happened when a project was canceled or a team was exhausted and discouraged. In those moments, my team didn't need a leader with a better spreadsheet. They needed a human being who could sit in the messiness without panicking. They needed someone who could look at the mess and say, I don't know the answer yet, but we're going to figure it out. The world you are entering is drowning in data, but it's starving for that kind of leadership. It's easy to find someone who can follow a map. It is much harder to find someone who has the empathy to lead people through a territory that hasn't been mapped before. We don't need more perfect leaders. We need more present ones, and we need to normalize getting lost. Class of 2026, you already understand that. Many of you have chosen a field of study that is fundamentally about what human bodies and human minds can do. You understand performance, yes, but you also understand recovery, resilience, and the biology of becoming. That is exactly why what the world needs right now. You are built for this world. Class of 2026, go sacrifice who you are for who you can become. Leave enough room in your life for good things to happen for you. Stay human. And most importantly, go blue. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kate, for those inspirational words. We'd now like to recognize a few student award winners. The Major of the Year Award recognizes one exemplary School of Kinesiology student from each of the 3 undergraduate programs. Students can be nominated by faculty, staff, or fellow students, or can self-nominate. Kinesiology faculty select their program's winner based on academic achievement, service, awards and honors, and leadership. Award winners, when your name is called, please wave your hand in the air and let us applaud your efforts. You can also choose to stand if you wish. Our Applied Exercise Science Major of the Year winner is Eleanor Lynch. Our Movement Science Major of the Year winner is Vienna Liu. And our Sport Management Major of the Year winner is Eliana Detata. We'd also like to applaud the recipients of the American Kinesiology Association, or AKA, Scholar Local Awards. Each year, these awards honor a select number of students with distinctive academic and leadership records. AKA sponsors awards in 4 categories: undergraduate scholar, master's scholar, doctoral scholar, and graduate student writing. Please raise your hand in the air or stand if you wish when I call your name. The finalists for this year's UM Undergraduate Scholar are once again Eliana Detata and Vienna Liu. This year's UM Undergraduate Scholar is Letitia Sim. This year's UM Master's Scholar is Joey Liu. This year's UM Doctoral Scholar is Reed Surdick. And this year's UM Graduate Student Writing Award winner is Jane Nakamura. Our program now continues with our first student speaker, Maria Valle, who is receiving a bachelor's degree in movement science.
Thank you, Dr. Bodery. College is often framed as a trebuchet, a foundational launchpad meant to hurl us toward personal success. We spend years with late-night study sessions and countless extracurriculars to prepare us for this moment where we are released into our careers. At the University of Michigan, I expected a degree. Instead, I found a movement. Movement that was not only taught in the School of Kinesiology, but movement that became action. But my story of movement really started when I was paralyzed in high school. My first thought in the hospital was simple: how am I going to do sports? Not recovering the use of my legs, just sports. This felt like something that was easy to achieve. As a lifelong athlete, like many of us here, I had never not been a competitor. Becoming disabled seemed like a very unexpected stop in that athletic journey. It turned out just to be a turn in a different direction. Thanks to my physical therapist and intensive rehab, I was able to find sports again, this time as an adaptive athlete. But it turned out that finding a way to be an athlete again would not be my biggest barrier. There was no adaptive track program in my rural Upper Peninsula town. There was no adaptive category in Michigan high school athletics, no way for a wheelchair racer to score a point for her team, no infrastructure to tell me I belonged in competition. The places to compete that I had always had as a non-adaptive athlete suddenly became closed off to me just because I was now competing in a wheelchair. By just wanting to rejoin my track team as a wheelchair racer, I was told that the system wasn't built for me. So I built something. That year, I created a petition to change the rules of the schools in my small town and realized that this needed to be a change beyond just my community. And I was not alone. My physical therapist and coaches had all seen the emotional, social, and physical benefits adaptive sports had had in my own recovery. And I knew that there were other people with disabilities who had yet to discover this world. Little did I know that my high school petition reflected other efforts across the state of Michigan and the country to expand access to adaptive sports. And I've become an integral part of that expansion, that movement into something more. I was recruited here as the first wheelchair racer on the adaptive track and field team, a sport for people with disabilities in the adaptive sports and fitness program. At Michigan, I found a place to not only support my athletic interests, but also a community breaking barriers and changing the institution for what they believed in, equal access. Adaptive sports at Michigan is not just competitive teams winning, although I'm certainly proud of winning a national championship with the wheelchair tennis team this year. But it's also community coordinators teaching local PE teachers how to integrate wheelchair basketball into their middle school gym classes, and doctors teaching medical students about the importance of adaptive sports for people with disabilities. I was no longer one person fighting to be on my high school track team, but now a student athlete on a newly formed collegiate adaptive team. Yes, we were still training in spaces that had never seen a disabled athlete, but now I was in a collective. I realized that together, as a group, we could have more impact. I realized that being an adaptive athlete meant I now existed not just as a competitor, but as an advocate. Because of the support I found here, I didn't just study sport, I challenged it. I transformed my high school petition for an adaptive high school track category into an organization fighting for that change statewide. Michigan was the space that gave me an opportunity to develop this into my own nonprofit, I'm an Athlete Too, which now fuels a fight for adaptive track and field in Michigan by providing equipment, hosting clinics, and growing a pipeline of young adaptive athletes. I was once told that there were not enough adaptive athletes for them to need a way to compete. And now there is a movement of over 30 Michigan athletes competing for their schools. In the School of Kinesiology, we study how movement can improve lives. But here, I also learned about the impact of momentum. Whether you're going into physical therapy, medicine, or sports management, being a Wolverine has become about more than our own paths. We have moved beyond awareness to tangible change. We've proven that movement isn't just what happens in a race to the finish line, it's what happens when we refuse to accept the world as it is. This is what you can do. You can become more than just what your future job prescribes and break down the barriers that patients and clients themselves don't see. You can become the movement that carries on past just one individual interaction. To the families and friends, you are the ones who have helped drive our forward momentum. You have provided the support and motivation that allowed us to move into our successes. Thank you for believing in us when the journey forward felt impossible. To my fellow graduates, look at how far you've traveled. Your success is not just measured by the knowledge you've gathered or the connections you've made, but also by the doors you have left open for those behind you. I now have this degree, but Michigan has been the space that has taught me how to move forward. I'm beyond proud to wear the Block M and to stand with a class that doesn't just study movement, but aims to become it. Go Blue. like to invite our graduate student speaker, Zoe Ruffin, who is receiving a master's degree in sports management, to the podium.
Just give me 1 second. All right, thank you, Maria. When people hear where I'm from, they already think they know my story. 313, or as most of you may know it, Detroit. Yes, the place that made me tough enough to survive finals week. It's an area code that statistics try to define, a place people often associate with struggle. But today, standing here, about to graduate from the University of Michigan, I am reminded that we are all living proof that we are bigger than our zip codes. I grew up in a single-parent household, and like many first-generation college students, college did not always feel like something that was guaranteed. It felt distant, like a path other people took. When that acceptance letter came in maize and blue, my world got a bit bigger. Now, I'll be honest, that acceptance didn't exactly come on my time. I got pushed back to the fall, and I had a full-blown, ugly cry, the world is ending meltdown on the phone with my mom. But looking back, clearly God needed a little extra time to clear the budget for my full ride. I guess I should have kept the tissues for finals week. A full ride from UM gave me access to a place where opportunity does not just exist, it surrounds you. Being here taught me an important lesson. Sometimes the biggest difference between who we are and who we can become is simply an environment of people who believe in our potential. At Michigan, I've been in rooms filled with professionals, mentors, and peers who pushed me to think bigger about my future. I've attended events connected to my career goals, learned from professors who genuinely cared about my growth, and built relationships with classmates who inspire me every day. The Maize and Blue community didn't just educate me, it helped expand what I believe is possible for myself. What makes Michigan special isn't just the opportunities we've had, it's the people sitting around you right now. Every person here arrived with their own story. Different backgrounds, different struggles, different dreams. Yet we all ended up here, clothed in the same colors, maize and blue. Today isn't just about celebrating degrees. It's about recognizing that we are leaving here with the power to change the narrative for the generations coming up behind us. Whether you are from a small town, Detroit, another state, or another country, the circumstances you start with do not define how your story ends. If anything, they prepare us to go even further. As we leave here today, we take the lessons, relationships, opportunities, and a permanent caffeine dependency that Michigans have given us. Between the late nights, the group projects that tested my last nerve, and the mystery of what is actually waiting for us after graduation, let's just say we made it. Wherever life takes us next, remember this: we are bigger than our area codes, bigger than our circumstances, bigger than the odds that tried to stand in our way. Repeat after me, graduates. We are bigger than our area codes, bigger than our circumstances, bigger than the odds that tried to stand in our way. And because of the University of Michigan, we have the confidence to stand in any room and know we belong there. Go Blue. Now, I would like to welcome Noel Semino and Heidi Haight, co-chairs of the Kinesiology Alumni Society Board of Governors, to the podium.
Thank you, Zoe. Hello, everyone. I'm Heidi.
I'm Noel. On behalf of the entire Alumni Board, congratulations on your graduation. It's our honor to welcome you as the newest members of the Kinesiology alumni family. We hope that you'll all continue to be strong, loyal, contributing alumni in the years to come and stay connected to the School of Kinesiology through its events, programs, social media, and other activities. Alumni engagement is the foundational component of the Alumni Board's mission.
Make sure to scan the QR code on the card you'll receive with your alumni pin when you walk across the stage. That will take you to a webpage where you can learn more about the Kinesiology Alumni Society and the benefits we can offer you, including career resources, invites to game watches, networking, group tickets to sports fundraisers that support the School of Kinesiology, and much more. On behalf of the entire Kinesiology Alumni Society, congratulations to you, the class of 2026. Go Blue!
Go Blue. Are we supposed to do anything more? Yeah.
Yeah. I'd like to now invite Letitia Sim to the podium to present the Students' Excellence in Teaching Awards.
Thank you, Heidi. Good afternoon, and thank you all for being here to celebrate with us today. My name is Letitia Sim, and as you heard earlier, I'm the school's nominee for the American Kinesiology Association's Undergraduate Scholar. It is my honor this evening to present the 2025-2026 Students' Excellence in Teaching Award. These awards give students the opportunity to recognize the School of Kinesiology graduate student instructors, lecturers, and full-time faculty for their meaningful contributions to the lives of the students at the school. Kinesiology students nominate individuals, and a committee of kinesiology student organization leaders selects the winner. The recipients are chosen based on their superior classroom teaching and innovative instruction, their dedication to challenging their students to learn and explore educational professional opportunities, and their concerns for the students in and outside of the classroom. Our first award winner is Professor Judith Grant Long. Our students said, Professor Long teaches complicated topics in a way that is understandable and incredibly engaging to learn. She cares most about her students' learning and puts a lot of effort into making sure they truly understand the material. She also flat out cares about her students more than most. Her effort towards making class topics relate to real-life jobs, examples, or overall life problems is a crucial part of who she is. I would like to invite Professor Long to the podium to accept her Excellence in Teaching Award. Congratulations. Our second award winner is Professor Kara Palmer. Our students said, I could not say enough positive things about Dr. Palmer. She is one of the most understanding and engaging teachers I have had at the School of Kinesiology. She's incredibly thoughtful in the way she designs her classworks, making sure students are engaged in the classroom, really emphasizing hands-on learning and learning by doing, and genuinely wanting to connect her students on a personal and emotional level. I think she gets the best out of her students because of that. There's no better example that demonstrates Dr. Palmer's incredible classroom atmosphere than her attendance procedures. She takes about 5 minutes at the start of each class to ask an attendance question to each student. The questions range from what color describes your mood today, to what is your new favorite TV show, to tell me something new you did over the weekend. The 5 minutes were always a great transition period to pull up materials, decompress from prior classes, and get me in the right headspace to learn about motor behavior. Asking questions about all of us shows that she cares about us as humans, and it's also an incredible way for me to learn more about my classmates. I truly believe Dr. Palmer is someone who deserves to be highlighted and appreciated by all kinesiology students and staff. I would like to invite Professor Palmer to the podium to accept her Excellence in Teaching Award. Our third award winner is graduate student Youngjun Bae. Our student said, what stood out to me the most was his patience and willingness to go the extra mile. He didn't just provide answers and made sure students truly understood the concepts. One particularly meaningful experience I had with Youngjun Bae was during a period when I felt overwhelmed by both my coursework and research direction. Instead of simply giving me technical answers, he took the time to walk through the thought process with me. He asked thoughtful questions, challenged my assumptions, and helped me see how to structure my ideas more clearly. In addition to his support with course material, I would like to acknowledge Youngjun's genuine care for his students. He is always extremely friendly and is a great team player, consistently giving his utmost support and going out of his way to help those around him succeed. I would like to invite Youngjun Bae to the podium to accept his Excellence in Teaching Award. Congratulations. Congratulations once again to the recipients of this year's Student Excellence in Teaching Awards and to my fellow graduates. It has been a pleasure learning alongside of you all these years. I would now like to welcome Professor Natalie Colabianchi to the podium.
Thank you, Letitia. My name is Natalie Colabianchi, and I'm the Associate Dean for Research. Research makes up an integral part of the academic experience in the School of Kinesiology, and we encourage our students to take advantage of the many opportunities available to them throughout their studies. For example, graduate and undergraduate students may complete a thesis while working closely with a faculty member on a specific research problem. I would like to acknowledge those students who have completed a research thesis this year. Students, please wave your hand in the air or stand if you wish when I call your name, and I ask the audience to hold their applause until all names have been announced. Vienna Liu completed a senior thesis titled Quantifying Shoulder Kinematics in Individuals with Chronic Shoulder Pain Using Markerless Motion Capture. Aspen Young completed a senior thesis titled, Does Incorporating Exercise into a Weight Loss Program Influence Free Living Physical Activity Behavior Following Weight Loss? A 6-month follow-up study. Chongpeng Wang completed a master's thesis titled, Effects of Cervical Support Height on Neck Muscle Activity and Stiffness in Individuals with and Without Chronic Neck Pain. Jimin Song completed a master's thesis titled Technology Adoption and Bias in Officiating, Automated Ball Strike System Implementation in Korean Baseball. Congratulations all. And now the moment you've all been waiting for, the graduates themselves. I'd like to ask Noel and Heidi to take their positions on stage. Students, remember to receive your pin from Noel and Heidi. Pause for a photo at the far end of the stage before you return to your seat. Kinesiology confers degrees in the following areas: Doctor of Philosophy, Master of Science, Bachelor of Arts, and Bachelor of Science. We begin with the granting of our doctoral degrees. The following descriptions I'll be reading represent a synopsis of the dissertation project that each of our doctoral graduates have completed under the supervision of a graduate faculty mentor, as well as any honors and awards they've been received during their time here. Professor Stephen Broglio, the Associate Dean of Graduate Student Affairs, will assist in the hooding of our graduates along with their faculty advisors. Kristen Perrin and Professor Deanna Gates, please join Professor Broglio. Kristen Perrin's dissertation, Characterizing Hip Muscle Morphology and Neuromuscular Function in Individuals with Transfemoral Amputation, focuses on muscle function in individuals with limb loss, informed by her clinical background as a certified prosthetist. Prior to beginning her doctoral studies, she earned a master's degree in prosthetics and orthotics from Northwestern University and practiced clinically, bringing valuable real-world experience to her research. During her time at Michigan, she contributed to the field through presentations at conferences, including the American Society of Biomechanics and the American Academy of Orthotics and Prosthesis. Her efforts were recognized with the School of Kinesiology's Paul Hunsicker Memorial Award. Congratulations, Dr. Perrin. Reed Surdick, please join Professor Deanna Gates and Professor Broglio on stage. Reed Surdick's dissertation is titled Sports-Related Concussions in Self-Reported Health During and Following a Collegiate Football Career. It focuses on concussion characteristics in collegiate football and the intermediate and long-term effects of the injury in athletes. This is the first prospective investigation of health outcomes following concussion among collegiate football athletes. During his time at Michigan, Reed amassed 11 manuscripts, including 4 first author publications and 20 conference presentations at domestic and international meetings. Reed's content expertise has already been recognized. He's been invited to consult with Football Canada on rules and policies surrounding player safety and has given invited talks to the NCAA and U.S. Olympic and Paralympic committees. In addition to his stellar research agenda, Reed has been a standout graduate student instructor for the School of Kinesiology, including serving as the first graduate student mentor for the School of Kinesiology. Described as rigorous, but often also even-keeled, some have referred to him as simply awesome. Reed is currently negotiating options following graduation. Congratulations, Dr. Surdick. Sheba Davis and Brian Umberger, please join Professor Broglio. Sheba Davis' dissertation is titled Role of the Pelvis in the Mechanics and Energetics of Human Walking and focuses on how the unique anatomy of the pelvis affects the way people walk and the corresponding physiological cost. As part of her dissertation research, Sheba made a major contribution to the field of biomechanics by developing the first general-purpose computer simulation model based on female musculoskeletal anatomy. This computational model is already being used by other researchers, and it will greatly enhance the utility of clinical gait analysis. During her time at Michigan, Sheba received numerous research and travel grants, and she was the School of Kinesiology nominee for the prestigious American Kinesiology Association Doctoral Scholar Award. As a doctoral student, Sheba was also very active in supporting professional development activities in the School of Kinesiology, the American Society of Biomechanics, the International Society of Biomechanics in Sport, and the International Women in Biomechanics Organization. Sheba recently started a position as an assistant professor in the Department of Kinesiology at Hope College in Holland, Michigan. At Hope, Sheba teaches courses on biomechanics and research methods and is continuing her research on the biomechanics and energetics of human walking. Congratulations, Dr. Davis. Georgie Shukailo and Professors Judith Grant Long and Richard Paulson, please join Professor Broglio. Georgie Sukailo's dissertation is titled Economic and Policy Dynamics in U.S. Collegiate Athletics, Recruiting Investment, International Labor Access, and Labor Cost Shocks, and examines how incentives, regulations, and sudden cost changes shape decision-making and competitive balance in college sport. His broader research agenda uses quantitative methods to test economic theories in a variety of sports settings. Georgie's scholarship has been shared widely through numerous refereed conference presentations and invited talks, and he has built a strong publication pipeline with manuscripts in various stages of the peer review process. His contributions as an educator have been equally significant, including teaching data management and visualization in R at Michigan and supporting graduate instruction in sports finance. Georgie's work has been recognized with several competitive awards and fellowships, including the Rackham Merit Fellowship and the Distinguished Doctoral Fellow distinction, as well as multiple Rackham and School of Kinesiology research and conference travel grants. After graduation, Georgie will join the faculty of Sport and Entertainment Management at the University of South Carolina as an assistant professor. Congratulations, Dr. Shukailo. Sydney Johnson and Professor Kwok, please join Professor Broglio. Sydney Johnson's dissertation is titled Public Spending on Stadiums and MLB Team Owner Choices. His research focuses on the independent impact of new facilities on leading team finance indicators for Major League Baseball teams, including revenues, payrolls, and on-field success. Sidney's high-quality ability and energy have led to several honors as a graduate student. He received the prestigious Rackham Merit Fellowship covering his entire time as a grad student. He also received the Zatkoff Family Graduate Fellowship and the Paul A. Hunsicker Memorial Award. His work earned travel awards from both the Rackham Graduate School and the School of Kinesiology. Sidney's impact as a scholar is already being felt in published works on foundational issues in sports economics and current controversies in public funding of sports stadiums. Sidney is actively exploring new career opportunities. Congratulations, Dr. Johnson. Please join me once again in congratulating our newly minted doctoral graduates. I will now turn the stage over to Doug Trabue, the host of Morning Edition on Michigan Public, the public radio network based here at UM. He will announce the master and bachelor degree graduates.
Thank you, Professor Colabianchi. I'd like to ask Professor Brian Syka to take his position on stage to congratulate the Master of Science Athletic Training graduates. Students, as you cross the stage, remember to shake your faculty member's hand, receive your pin from Noel or Heidi, and pause for a photo at the far end of the stage before returning to your seat. Zatao Fan. Andrew John Hedberg. Alex Melnick. Jack Michael Panagrossi. Dylan Monshine. Paul David Allen Sutton. Lana Singer. Lily Rose Hillary Parker. Anjali Shaw. Rachel Simone Urbick. Emma Alexandra Scott. Lena Joy Heinzman. Emily Shoemaker. Tori Lynn Tolles. Trinity Vincent. Elise Renee Markham. Mariah Sydney Desiree Steele. I'd like to ask Professor Deanna Gates to take her position on stage to congratulate the Master of Science, Movement Science graduates. Chongpeng Wang. Isabella Ray Smith. Skylar Mackenzie Reynolds. Maggie Murphy. Bram Hine. Raina Danielle Gugino. Julia Katarzyna Lesko. Layla Lynch. Rebecca Miriam Tuska. Shin Yi Kong. I'd like to ask Professor Dae-hee Kwok to take his position on stage to congratulate the Master of Science Sport Management graduates. Molly Tissenbaum. Katie Saloger. Elena Claire Rokert. Riley Elizabeth Angstman. Zoe Ruffin. Connor Logan Pierce. Minhwan Zhang. Ji Hyuk Kang. Jimin Song. Hao Yu Chan. Daniel Lee. Shutan Yu. Yuetong Liue. Bi-chung Yen. Outsa Kong. Caden Wayne Baxter. Kajian Ju. Long Luo. Anthony June Yen. Courtney Bessel. Cadence Jolene Lee. Rebecca Margaret Gerfin. Alexandria Guy Bing. Georgia Ann Vartugian. Imogen Hennel. Melanie Bristol. Ethan Thomas Swinsicki. Blake Simon Bolin. Jonathan James Franchi. Jack Raymond Goldstein. Eli Daniel Bride. Skylar Eric Zink. I'd like to ask Professors David Conroy and Laura Richardson to take their positions on stage to congratulate the Bachelor of Science Applied Exercise Science graduates. Wilfred Tanafu. Utsavi Vaswani. Thomas Anthony Slyman. Olivia Catherine Lesko. Serena Howe. Letitia Sim. Noah Bishop. Will Barheit. William Stephen Endris. Kate Seacrest. Lauren Rose Price. Carson Matthew Collins. Gabriella Haney. Olivia Lauren Vollmer. Kendall Grace Dunwoody. Maya Nicole Steyer. Eleanor Grace Lynch. Megan Michelle Arntz. Victoria Slazak. Ni Tong. Olivia Dorothea Fry. Sophia Leone. Alexander Futter. Hunter Makayo Schaefer. Jackson Miles Hodges. Kennedy Elise Hummel. Nina Grace Blanco. Summer Young. William Albert Haley. Theodore Casmer Ehlers. Christopher Benoit. Joseph William Hubert. Christopher Roy. Matthew Bellcrest. Lydia Jane Luptowski. Lauren Paige McCallig. Tree Lee. Claire Marie Leitz. Lillian Frances Wager. Elsie Bauer Ratner. Hannah Grace Potocny. William Ernest Calhoun. Caden Mitchell Playford. Lusana Elizabeth Hirschfield. Sophia Alexandra Panosian. I'd like to ask Professors Sandra Hunter and Kara Palmer to take their positions on stage to congratulate the Bachelor of Science, Movement Science graduates. Peter Alanuth. Adrian Aranio. Maria Elizabeth Valet. Nikhil Venkata Kondaguna. Mia Carolina Fernandez de Castro. Megan Marie Rutherford. Ella Kumagai Dresden. Ruthie Morgan Price. Madison Elizabeth Wheeler. Lindsay Christine Jones. Margaret Olson. Zoe Acadia Sowers. Kira Beth Christensen. Talon Scott Christensen. Ella Ann Hoagland. Michelle Ann Piper. Megan Elizabeth Tompkins. Madeline Aaliyah Macias. Levi Heron Copald. Veronica Maria Mroziak. Elise Rose Johnson. Emily Ann Gensheimer. Grace Romig. Shirley Magdalene Wisniak. Abigail Anita Steckel. Allison Marie Locke. Dessa Kealoha Needham. Daniela Ann Duque Gallagher. Chloe Elizabeth Fayerick. Lily Isabel Pfeiffer. Kate Christy Lee. Cassia Elena Solis. Eric Jong. Jaden James Sheng. Gavin Bruce Bickner. Grace Kinnear. Eric Ho. Chad Berlent. Aiden Clark Johnson. Lucas Schaefer. Zachary Ryan Perozic. Nicholas Berenson. Georgiana Alexandra Arvanitis. Therese Rose Campos. Victoria Jane Sipple. Paris Skylar Marquis. Carrie Elizabeth Sickley. Taylor Marie Redmond. Alexandra Paige Kirsten. Courtney Joy Gore. Camilla Vischilio. Marika Sky Rupert. Ireland Rose Janasic. Connor Jacob Tittle. Megan Grace Piagentini. Jessica Lorena Saris. Abigail Zenzen. Haley Choi. Summer Trinity Chu. Ariana Elizabeth Ravitz. Vienna Lee Ewen Liu. Tarek Engelter. Martin McCall DeVoe. Ansley Sky Parker. Gabrielle Jerry Wara. Yasmin Rababa. Ellie Lauren Carlisle. Sophia Beatrice Del Rosario Gastiata. Matthew William Hempel. Zachary Kubiziak. Justin James Jafar Surratt. Justin Edward Yu. Jimmy Shao. Jaden Raymond Joy. Gian Farrell Kaluag. Jack David Lucan. Kamini Leanne Plale. Natalia Anna Bafia. Devin Kitchell. Alyssa Michelle Crockett. Emma May Kirkhew. Callie Elizabeth Rohr. Jordan Rose Bommersbach. Rebecca Rose Gruber. Emma Elizabeth Garbaszewski. Delaney Rose Parlante. Angelina Grace Hamblin. Brian Lee. Aspen Young. Amanda Riley Howitt. Sophie Haeyoung Chong. Brock Richard Denial. Iris Ma. Insia Sheriff. Rawa Al-Zahari. Kaya Lexi Heyman. Conan Akira Mickey. Wadia El Aridi. Andrew Hyunwoo Oh. Jin Long Chan. Maggie Jung. Aiden Masatoshi Waters. Courtney Simone Laurie. Divinity Davis. Luis Felipe Villa. I'd now like to ask Professor Josh Murgos to take his position on stage to congratulate the Bachelor of Science, Movement Science graduates who have completed an intraoperative neuromonitoring concentration. Hadi Wael Hussein. Juno Kim. Ryan Kushner. Stephanie Elgard. Ashley Lynn Gray. Luke Charles Gilbert. Noah Stephen Kunert. Bailey Onyxt. Rose Serena Mayoris. Colleen Ann Lucy. Kyle D. Kim. Now I'd like to ask Professors Brian McCullough and Kelly Donahue to take their positions on stage to congratulate the Bachelor of Arts Sport Management graduates. Jonah Benjamin Berghoff. Jackson Minelli. Charles Theodore Iverson. Nicholas Drew Levine. Gianni Patrick Andy Baglivo. Leo Butler. Bodie Backle. Jesse Michael Heller. Yoav Constantino. Robert Avery McKee. William Shepard Campbell. John Francis Murphy. Corey Flynn Ehrlich. Jack Silver. Derek Matthew Sale. Griffin Cole Klein. Charles Barnhart Decker. Lily Hamilton Ryan. Natalie Lynch. Sydney Elizabeth Domingo. Samantha Ruth Michaels. Kiara Elena Sessa. Lauren Elizabeth Lowers. Aleka Gianna Frazier. Kamijah Dominique Blackwell. Kaylee Ann Lynn Cawhorn. Analia Christina Casey. Rebecca Ann Holt. Yinung Suan. Chung Jun Fong. Nathaniel James Hobbs. Zach Jurison. Jack Blair Strassner. Connor Sage Shooks. Mohammed Ihab Hamden Hashem. Nicole Marie Panganiban Manyalak. Eliana Rose Detada. Joseph William Cook. Emily Sue Morehouse. Kimberly Morales Douglas. Charles Henry Mack. Brett Allen Mathieson. Jack Collins. Benjamin Boyd Sislow. Christian Leaf Wickland. Catherine Anna Frucci. Eliezer Manuel Maldonado Ortiz. Zachary Aiden Schuler. Logan Tyler Hayes. Nicole Kristen Nielsen. Jack Tersch. Leah Vetrano. Abigail Brooke Gervitz. Trinity Tupper. Mackenzie Rose Kupfer. Biliana Mitkov Georgiev. Grace Olivia Hoover. Ella Marion Jeffries. Andrew Robert Trepic. Brendan Richard Kemp. Jesse Devorier Lamont. Jacob Henry Fisher. Molly Christine McMillan. Kyle Thomas O'Connell. Zachary Noah Rosenbaum. Oliver Strand Fuji Myers. Aaron John Locke. Connor Gi-Hyun Chi. Samuel Jacob Wallenberg Alpern. Danielle Stassa. Amanda Lauren Shapiro. Dylan Renee Nassau. Callista Sage Reddington. Sophia Lataw. Alexandra Nicole Bloomquist. Oliver Quinn Martin. Ian Hampton Horith. Chloe Elizabeth Ontockley. Ava Elizabeth Pascuzzi. Andrew James Romansky. Colin Anthony Gibson. Grant Patrick Yeager. Sarah Daniela Arevalo. Carver Messick. Adam Joshua Helfstein. Hannah Rose Cohen. Ella Morgan Tannenbaum. Bryn Leah Stein. Louisa Helene Binder. Daniela Goyman. Caroline Madison Hannon. Isabel Ann Jackson. Brooke Murphy Ingram. Paige Elizabeth Thaxton. Mara K. Janis. Cassidy Grace Isaacson. Claire Virginia Nelson. Jordan Harrison. Bailey Richmond Shinen. Harrison Thomas Garfinkel. Logan Scott Givens. Reagan Elizabeth King. Sean Jugtiani. Nicholas Ray Friedman. Joseph Edward Masters. Eli Aaron Brand. Landon Noah Kratchman. Sam James Heller. Evan Rose. Lucian William Weiss. Jackson Christopher Parr. Kirkland Shashosky. Dean Goldstein. Alan Wayner. Brandon Aaron Yaker. Brandon Portnoy. Benjamin Alexander Siegel. Isacco Giuseppe Matti. Nicholas Kaplan. Tyler Justin Sheriff. Cole Ederer. Cole Parker Arnett. Connor Marshall Gieske. Henry Channon Losink. Braden Patrick Fusen. Zachary Jolson. Aiden Thomas Bradley. Joseph Patrick Wisniewski. Nathan Joseph Herberholtz. Logan John Jones. Alexander Vecchio. David Lee Ellis. Alec Garibian. Landon Brimacombe. Rena Howe. Nicholas Robert Shahowski. Cal Ford. All of these students have completed the degree requirements as prescribed by the faculty of the School of Kinesiology. Dean Plouch Snyder, it is my honor to present to you the graduates of the classes of 2026.
Thank you, Mr. Trabue. Graduates, you may stand if you choose. When you put on your cap and gown today, your tassel should have been placed on the right side, signifying you had not yet graduated. On behalf of the Board of Regents of the University of Michigan and the faculty and staff of the School of Kinesiology, I congratulate you on your graduation this evening. Please move your tassels now from the right to left. Well done. And I will turn the podium back to Professor Bodery one last time.
Congratulations, graduates. You will forever be a proud part of the history of the School of Kinesiology and the University of Michigan. In fact, you're joining the largest team at the University of Michigan, almost 700,000 alumni throughout the world. May you always uphold the excellent tradition that defines Michigan alumni. Again, on behalf of the faculty and staff, thank you for enriching our lives, and good luck and congratulations to you, class of 26. In just a moment, we will conclude our ceremony with song, but first I need to provide you with some final instructions. After we sing, we ask that you all remain seated as the platform party recesses. The marshals will then dismiss the graduates row by row. Families and guests should remain in their seats as the graduates depart. Once they're out of the building, please join them at the reception outside the School of Kinesiology building, directly across the street from here. You'll see the tent on the left side of the building right before the flagpole. See page 3 of your program for a map. The building will also be open for students to show their families around. Now please stand if you're able and join Skylar Reynolds, who will lead us in singing The Yellow and Blue. Skylar will then lead us in singing The Victors. The words for both songs are also on page 3.
Yellow, the stars as they ride through the night, and
Thank you, Skylar, and thank you everyone for being here. Congratulations, graduates. We'll see you outside the Kinesiology building. Go Blue!
Thank you.